Hello, Seiiti. There is a habit that many people use to push through the difficult, the hard work. And maybe this is something that you use as well. You sit down in front of a difficult task. Maybe it is a report, maybe it is a project that you have been avoiding for a few days. And then you make a deal with yourself. You think, if I finish this, I will get to watch my favorite show tonight. Or if I close this project, then I can have a good dinner. This sounds smart at first, and after all, your rewards are supposed to be motivating you. That's what most people believe. But after some time, something starts to go wrong. The work starts to feel heavier. Not heavier in a good way, not like a challenge that makes you stronger. The work starts to feel joyless. The reward at the end stops feeling special. The reward starts to feel something necessary. And you cannot even understand why. Here's what's happening. Every time you promise yourself a reward after work, you're training your brain to not enjoy the difficult part. You're teaching your brain that the good part is actually outside of your effort. The good part is at the end of your activity. And once your brain learns that lesson, the work becomes something that you just have to endure. The reward becomes the point. The work becomes a hassle, an obstacle between you and the reward. You are training your brain to save your motivation for the end. Your brain is producing something, a chemical called dopamine. And dopamine is not the chemical of pleasure as some people might believe. Dopamine is what helps you to create motivation and drive and the feeling that you want to move towards something. When dopamine is high, you feel more willing to engage. When dopamine is low, even a simple task can feel pretty heavy. Have you noticed that some activities pull you in naturally, while other activities might feel hard even to get started? The difference is not random. Part of that difference comes from how your brain is releasing dopamine. Your brain can release dopamine in different ways. One part is the system that responds very strongly to outside rewards. For example, praise, food, money, or something pleasant that you expect to receive. There's another part of the system that is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain behind your forehead that helps you to think, to plan, to assign meaning to what you're doing. And this matters because your thoughts can influence how your brain receives the reward. Now think about the moments when you're deeply absorbed in your work, in something that matters to you. Time passes differently. The work is still difficult, but the difficulty does not feel like suffering. Why does that happen? Because your brain is now generating motivation about the work itself. You can feel that the work matters. You can feel yourself making progress. And because of that, the hard part does not feel like something that you need to endure or to survive. But the moment you keep attaching an outside reward to the end, the brain starts to learn a very different lesson. Your brain starts to learn that the good part is not inside of the effort, the good part comes later. And once that pattern repeats itself enough times, your brain will save more and more of the motivation for the end, for the finishing line. And that whole effort makes you feel miserable. There is a Stanford experiment about drawing showing how rewards can kill natural motivation. Researchers were studying this problem back in the day in 1973. Was Lepper, Green, and Nisbet. They did an experiment with young children who already enjoyed, they loved drawing. This detail is important. These children, they were not being forced to draw. They were already choosing to draw during their free time. The children reached for crayons on their own because they enjoyed it. They felt good doing the drawings. In psychology, we call this intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation means that the activity itself is rewarding. But then, the researchers changed one thing. They started to give these children a reward for drawing. In many cases, they were giving them a gold star. So children kept on drawing, but they were also receiving the gold stars. On the surface, nothing seemed to be wrong, but then the researchers removed the gold stars later. And this is where the result became so interesting and so important. The children who once loved drawing just for drawing, now they were drawing less. Some of the children stopped drawing entirely. And these children showed less interest in drawing compared to children who had never been exposed to the reward of the gold star in the first place. Do you understand how serious this is? The reward is not something that is adding extra motivation. The reward replaced the natural motivation that was already there. Before the reward, drawing by itself was feeling good. During the activity, the children, their brains, they were already getting the signal that drawing itself was rewarding. But once the gold star kept appearing at the end, the brain started to update the pattern. The brain started to understand and treat the gold star as the real payoff. The dopamine moved toward the end. So after enough repetitions, drawing itself became less rewarding. The gold star had trained the brain to be waiting for the external payoff. When the gold star disappeared, the activity became emptier than before. This is what psychologists call a shift from intrinsic internal motivation to external extrinsic motivation. The intrinsic motivation means that the activity itself feels rewarding. Extrinsic motivation means that reward is outside of the activity. And when that shift is happening, this is so dangerous because the outside reward is so fragile. And this is exactly what you're doing to yourself every day when you go and say, if I finish this, I'm gonna get that special treat. You're running that experiment on your own brain. You're training your brain to save the dopamine for the end, and the work itself loses the emotional reward. The work becomes something that you have to suffer through. Do you understand now why this is such a bad idea? Every time you create a condition that you get something nice at the end after doing your hard work, you are training your brain to hate the hard work. And that's not the only problem. The reward at the end also, after a while, starts to feel more normal. You take it for granted. It loses some of the power. But the worst part is that you slowly lose the ability to feel real motivation during the effort itself. There's so much more that you can do to rebuild real focus and drive from the inside. In the Focus Arata Academy, I will teach you to have deeper mechanisms behind your motivation, your attention, your effort, together with very important practical ways for you to move your brain to the right direction. And you can do this in arata.se/focus. You can train your brain to see the reward inside of the effort. The good news is that this pattern can be reversed. Your brain didn't lose the ability forever. Your brain can learn again to release motivation during the work itself. Remember the prefrontal cortex that I mentioned earlier? The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that will help you to interpret that something matters. And because the prefrontal cortex is connected to your dopamine system, the meaning you assign to effort can change how the effort feels over time. So what does that mean in practice? It means that when you're doing something difficult, your brain is constantly asking a hidden question. Where is the reward here? If you have trained your brain to expect the reward only at the end, then the effort feels empty. But if you keep signaling that the effort itself has value, the brain starts to update its map. And this is why your interpretation of effort means so much. When you consciously treat your effort as the valuable part, especially during the hardest moments, you're now sending a new signal. And if you repeat that signal enough times, your brain will begin to release more motivation during the work, not only after the work. And this is one of the deepest ideas behind what people call growth mindset. Growth mindset is not just a nice attitude about learning. Growth mindset means training yourself to find value in the struggle, in the practice, in the repetition. The effort stops being a price that you pay. It becomes part of the reward. And when that happens, you no longer need to be bribing yourself in the same way. The work itself starts to bring you so much more energy. You must train yourself to find the good part inside of the hard part. So, how do you apply all of this into your real life? The key moments are not the easy moments. The key moments are the exact moments when the task feels hard, when there is an urge for you to escape, and when your mind starts to fantasize about the reward waiting for you at the end. In that exact moment, you have to say to yourself silently, or you can even say it out loud, I'm doing this by choice. This effort matters. This effort is the good part. That might sound a little bit artificial at first, a little bit cheesy, yes, I know, but you will say it anyway because you're not trying to sound smart or poetic. You're training your brain, you're giving yourself, your prefrontal cortex, a clear instruction about where the value is supposed to be. And there are also two other very important mistakes that you have to avoid. Pay attention. Before the work, don't flood your brain with artificial stimulation just to get started. Don't do any exciting ritual or emotional hype, no motivational video to pump yourself up. Because when you are now giving yourself a big dopamine rush before your work begins, this will make everything else feel dull by comparison. The task will feel heavier. It's going to be more joyless. It's going to be harder for you to sustain your work. And after the work, don't promise yourself a reward in advance. A promised reward will teach your brain that the wrong lesson is there, that you have to have this reward. And this is the reason why you're doing it, not because of the activity itself, not because of the effort itself. And once your brain learns that pattern, the hard work starts to feel like a long stretch of discomfort, something that is standing between you and the reward that you want. So train your brain in the opposite direction. Train your brain to find something that is good inside of the effort itself, not just after the work, during the work. And every time you stay with the hard part without bribing yourself, you're now making that ability a little stronger. Did you like that? So remember that every time you promise yourself a reward after work, you are teaching your brain to save your motivation for the end. The work becomes something you have to endure. It's suffering. The reward becomes the real point of you doing things, and little by little, the hard work becomes to feel worse and worse. So next time you reach for a moment of real difficulty, don't say, if I do this, I'll get that special treat. You say, I'm choosing this. This effort matters. This is the good part. When you say this, even out loud, it might sound a little bit fake in the beginning, but your brain will be able to learn a new pattern. Your brain will start to release more motivation during the effort itself, and when that happens, you will stop needing to bribe yourself to do what matters. Inside Focus, I will be teaching you exactly how to build that kind of a inside-out focus and drive, and you can do that by visiting the link arata.se/focus.